What's up, guys? Cmac Pride 1 here, and today I'm back with another episode of Cmac Stories. Hopefully you liked the first episode. I'm kind of just recording this off the last one, so if you don't like it and you had some suggestions, leave them still down in the comment section down below, because I will get to them eventually once I start seeing them. But for today's story, we have the Rush Hour with No Brakes story. So, back in the glorious year of, I want to say, not even really 100% sure, 2014. That seems like such a long time ago. Was it 20? Yeah, it was 2014. We'll go with. I was learning how to drive. Now, for anyone that knows the experience of learning how to drive, which I would assume most of my viewer base would, it's a stressful thing. Some people, it comes to very easy. Others, it takes a lot of practice. For the most part, I took driving very naturally. When I was little, I always loved to drive in go-karts. And, whenever we would drive in go-karts, I would always kind of pretend I was like a NASCAR driver. And I would want to go that way, stay close to the wall, or back that way, stay on the other side of the wall. Try to stay with flow traffic, everything. So driving came pretty naturally to me. The main two people who helped me learn to drive in the end were my grandfather and my grandmother. And the one biggest part about driving in my area is you have to learn how to parallel park. Now, if you don't know how to parallel park, it's very simple. These are supposed to be traffic cones, but basically, when you parallel park, you have to come into the angle with your car this way, have your bumper stay with the back of the quote-unquote end space of the cone, try to drift your way in this direction to the cone, then reverse it to bring the rest of the car in. It's not a great way to describe how to parallel park. I've only ever done it for my test, but it was something I always had difficult with. I went on 3 separate occasions to the place where we go to learn how to parallel park, the place where you actually take the test for the course. And I did probably a good 50 or so attempts. And on this particular day, I was probably on attempt 20, and I was getting frustrated. I was getting really frustrated. And if you know me as the type of person, I things bother me if I can't get them right on the first few times. I am patient, but it does bother me. So I was getting a little bit visually upset. We had both my grandmother and grandfather in the car. And when I was driving, I noticed that my car kind of felt weird. Now, being 16 and not really knowing how to drive yet, it was one of those things where you could tell something was wrong, but you didn't know what. So we did a couple more parallel parks, and I started to notice my brake was just acting really funny. It wasn't giving much resistance whenever you were pressing down on it. So you would say it would take probably 5 seconds for the brake to press down. Well, it was starting to go down to say 4 seconds after a couple minutes. Then it was 3 seconds. Then it was 2 seconds. And at this point I was really frustrated. My grandfather was getting frustrated, so he's like, all right, out of the car, let's just go. And I was like, I can do this. No. Okay, start driving then. Go on the highway. And I'm like, I will, but can you check the car first, because something is wrong. And he was frustrated. He was really frustrated at this. So with a look of just utter anger, he was like, get out of the car. I'll drive home. And as we started driving, he's like, now you are going to drive. You are going to do this 100%. So once again, got out of the car, got back in the car, and I started driving. And to get back, everything felt weird. He still didn't notice anything wrong with the car, because we were still in our space that we never really moved. I know it didn't sound like that, but We never moved out of the space. So I started driving. So say this is the road. There's an offshoot into a neighborhood, and then there is a steep ramp that goes right into oncoming traffic. And this ramp is about, I would say a good 30 degrees, at least. So coming that right into oncoming traffic that's going 55 miles per hour is really dangerous when you are not really sure if what's going on with your car. So I'm like, I can't do this. So instead of going here, I end up pulling into the neighborhood and we just stop here. He's like, fine, I'll look. And he gets out of the car, opens up the hood, looks down, and there is just a massive puddle of brake fluid everywhere. And at this point, everyone's very frustrated that this almost happened. We almost died, technically, because if you're going down a 30-degree ramp into 55 mile per hour traffic, all you have to rely on is your emergency brake. And even then, I would not trust myself in being that young and inexperienced to come out of it with no damage. So luckily, I was able to figure out something was wrong at that age. It was about a good 20 degrees Fahrenheit that day, and we called AAA. We actually, none of us had cell phones at the time. I know, 16-year-old without a cell phone. So we had to go contact over to the neighbor's house. That was, or not neighbor, but the person that we were in front of his house. Had to go inside, call AAA. Had to have them come over. Had to have them tow the car. And we had to find somebody else to take us home. So after my dad got off work, he came, picked us up, and this was about probably 3 hours later. So yeah, that was kind of like my first real emergency scenario whenever I had to learn how to drive. So the moral of the story is always trust your gut instinct when it comes to anything, especially driving. If you think something's wrong, if you have a hunch something's wrong, check to make sure something's wrong. Because sometimes that gut instinct just tells you that something's wrong for a reason. So guys, hopefully you liked this episode. A little bit different than the last episode, but hopefully you liked it. So guys, I am Cmac Pride 1. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think of this video. Tell me what you need to improve, and I will see y'all later. Peace.